We just spoke with Democratic Representative Chris Van Hollen about the looming deadline for the Debt Supercommittee. There's only 5 days left to figure out how to cut $1.2 trillion from the nation's deficit. Now let's bring in Republican Senator and Supercommittee member Pat Toomey to weigh in. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We just heard from Congressman Van Hollen where he stood on the negotiations, and if he thinks a deal can get done, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's still possible. It's not going to be easy. Time is running short, but time hasn't run out yet. And so we're here, we're working, we're talking. It's difficult, but it's still possible.
So when you say you're working, Senator Toomey, are you guys in the same room, Democrats and Republicans together, or are you negotiating in separate areas and sort of a shuttle diplomacy things going on?
Both, all of the above, individual conversations, larger group conversations. We're interacting in a variety of ways, trying to find a way to see if we can get something pulled together.
When was the last time that Democrats and Republicans were in the same room negotiating together?
Many of us from the committee were in the same room together yesterday evening. So, I don't know, 12 hours ago.
Was there any movement at all? Because we're hearing that it's not likely a deal will be reached.
Well, I think it's too soon to draw that conclusion. We still hope we'll be able to get something done. We're still working on it.
Are we really stuck again on entitlement reform and the Bush tax cuts?
Well, those are certainly the two big pieces. When I approached this from the very beginning, I always thought that one of the obligations of this committee would be to do something that'd be good for our economy and good for job growth. Tax reform is the big, obvious opportunity. Avoiding this massive tax increase that's coming at us that my Democratic colleagues want to have happen, I think that's a real problem. And this isn't just us talking. Every bipartisan commission that has looked at the deficit problems we face, Rivlin, Domenici, Simpson and Bowles, the Gang of Six, they have all said that any new revenue needs to come in the context of pro-growth tax reform that lowers rates and simplifies the code and wipes away some of the loopholes and write-offs and special interest deductions. So that's one of the things that we've suggested that we do. It'd be great for our economy. It would generate some revenue for deficit reduction. It would make the code simpler and more fair. I think that's an important piece, but that's the real driver of this entire problem, of course, is excessive spending. It's too much spending. It's programs that are structurally flawed and need to be fixed.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Could Democrats ever give enough on entitlement reform that you would be willing to give up some of those Bush-era tax cuts? I mean, is there a compromise in here somewhere?
See, I'm not sure why we should harm the economy in order to do the right thing for the entitlements. I think we should do something good for the economy. And by the way, lots of Democrats agree that simplifying the tax code and lowering marginal rates and getting rid of these special interest favors is good. Almost all economists agree that will result in more jobs. So why should we do damage to the economy so that we can do something on the entitlements? That's never made sense to me. I want to do the right thing for the economy and the right thing for our long-term fiscal sustainability.
But when you ask the American people, most, poll after poll show that most of America wants there to be higher taxes on the wealthiest Americans in this country. Poll after poll shows that. Is the American people completely wrong about this?
Well, first of all, I think it depends a lot on how you ask this question. But the reality is the proposal that we've put on the table would actually ask wealthy people to pay a little bit more in taxes. That's something the other side has acknowledged. Now, it happens in the context of a better tax code, a simpler tax code, and one with lower marginal rates. But we've recommended reducing the value of deductions and write-offs and credits to the point that it would actually generate some net revenue for deficit reduction. My Democratic friends have acknowledged this. The problem is they want to take all that and then they want an $800 billion tax increase to occur in 13 months. In addition to that, that's terrible for the economy.
And now we're talking again about those Bush tax cuts and allowing them not to expire. Just lastly, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you place, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, on whether a deal will be struck by the deadline?
You know, I've never been a gambler. I've never made any money in a casino. I'm not going to put a number on it. I'm just going to tell you we're going to stay at it. We're going to keep working. I think it's not too late, and I really hope we'll be able to reach an agreement.
Are you working through the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good thing. Thank you very much, Senator Toomey.